And here we have it. The man of the hour. 2009 World Series champion. Jerry Hairston Jr. Look at you, my man. You haven't even aged, man. Look at you. What's
What's
happening?
up, Eddie? How you doing, man? How's everything?
Everything's great. I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? So your smile is priceless. So I love it.
Well, I'm enjoying it. I'm here on the West Coast. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. Great weather. I'm able to golf, raise my kids. I know in other areas like where you guys are at, you guys been hit hard, and you have to really social distance and stay home. I'm very fortunate. I'm able to kind of be more of a spacious area and enjoy life a little bit.
Well, God bless you and to your family. So let's talk. Let's rewind the clock a little bit, Jerry, because even though you played for the Yankees just for 90 days, in reality, they rented you for 3 months, which was a great experience. You played in the league for 16 years. But what I want to know, when you guys had family dinners, right? Was it baseball talk every day? Because who else played in the big leagues? Your brother? Your father? Your grandfather? I mean, who else? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was dinner like?
Well, I remember, we had Thanksgiving break off as a kid, so we all drive down from Chicago
Uh
to
huh.
Birmingham, Alabama, visit my grandmother and visit my grandfather.
Uh huh.
I just remember sitting at the dinner table at 8, 9, 10 years old and listening to my grandfather and my father and my uncle talk about their experiences as Major League Baseball players. My grandfather played in the Negro Leagues for a lot of years before he got to the big leagues. But just hearing their stories, I remember saying, you know what, I want to have those type of stories. I want to experience what they got a chance to experience, and it just seemed like a cool life. To be able to play ball,
Oh my.
to travel not just the country, really the world, and play, in my opinion, the greatest game on earth. I wanted to experience that. So we did have a lot of conversations about baseball, and as a kid, I soaked it all in.
So you played for like how many teams did you play for altogether, Jerry?
28. No,
28. You mean the square root of 28?
I played for 9 teams. Nine
9
teams.
teams.
Yeah.
July 31st, 2009. You got traded to the Yankees from Cincinnati, right? But I want to know, when did you get the heads up of you coming to the Yankees or getting traded regardless? What happened? Tell me the story.
Well, the story of that, I was having a pretty good year. I was starting to play every day in Cincinnati. I was under Dusty Baker. He was our manager, and I loved playing for Dusty. And probably about a week before the trade deadline, my agent Casey Close, who also represented Derek Jeter, he lives outside of New York. Casey kind of was keep me up to date on what possibilities might happen. And I remember him telling me that Minnesota Twins might be a possibility. They need a shortstop right now. So I thought I was going to get traded to Minnesota. I didn't really want to go to Minnesota because I love the young guys that we had in Cincinnati. I love playing for Dusty Baker. That a young Joey Votto,
Mm-hmm.
Jay Bruce, Brandon Phillips, really good young guys. Todd Frazier was coming up. Just a great group of young guys, and I wanted to be a part of that. But Dusty Baker, July 31st, called me in at around 4 o'clock Eastern time. He said, listen, you've been traded. And I was like, where am I going? Am I going to Minnesota? He goes, no, you're going to the Yankees. I'm like, what?
Oh,
They weren't really on my radar, I should say. I didn't think I was on their radar. But for him to say you're going to New York, I knew at the time they were the best team in all of baseball. I knew Derek for a lot of years playing in the American League East. To get a chance to play on that team, that historic franchise, to get a chance to go play in the playoffs, I knew I just wanted to fit in. And you see me right there with Derek. I'll tell you a quick story right there. Derek is probably one of the best leaders I've ever been around. I would take my ground balls or fly balls, and at the end of batting practice, he wanted me to take ground balls with him. And what he would do is we talk a lot, and he would let me know, hey, this is what postseason baseball is going to be like. Can you handle that? And he'd be in my ear. All eyes are going to be on you. You're going to get in that bat. You're going to have to make a play defensively. Something's going to happen where we're going to need you in the postseason. And he started really from day one, kind of prepping me for the postseason. And he's really getting me kind of hyped. So when I get that bat in the postseason, I was mentally prepared. And that's what great leaders do. And that's why I compare Derek Jeter to a guy like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan would do that to Steve Kerr. He would do that to the other guys making sure that if you can handle this practice, if you can handle the pressure of me kind of getting on you a little bit, you can handle the postseason. And I'm so glad Derek was able to do that to me.
But Jeter did it in an actual nice way. You know what I mean? He wasn't like Michael Jordan, like, yo, let's go.
Well, Derek, listen, I always talk about Derek. Derek's 6'4", incredible athlete. He was a really good basketball player in high school, but he kind of played the game like a Dustin Pedroia. Dustin Pedroia, 5'6", just scrappy, just does not give in. Now, Derek was a nice guy. He's a great guy, okay? But don't get it twisted, man. It's all about winning, bro. All about winning. He wasn't nice if we lost. He wasn't nice if we lost a couple games or we weren't playing well. But guess what? That's how you should be. Losing is unacceptable. So that's why I love hearing stories about Michael Jordan and stories about Derek Jeter. This is not AAU. This is not the YMCA. You're paid to win, not paid to play. You're paid to win. And of course, being a Yankee, winning is a must. And he made it very clear, not just him, but a lot of guys there made it very clear. I don't care if you're a superstar or the 25th guy on the roster. You're there to do a job, and that's to win.
Man, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, that year was amazing. There's a lot of comeback wins. But when you got to the stadium, who was the first person that welcomed you? Like, once you got into the clubhouse?
Well, I got traded while they were on the road.
Okay.
So I was in Cincinnati. They were in Chicago, my hometown. So I met the team in Chicago, got there early to the ballpark. We were playing the White Sox. And the first guy I saw in the clubhouse was Mariano Rivera. And Mariano Rivera came up to me, and he said, "Welcome home." And that really put me at ease. To have Mariano Rivera, come on, the greatest closer in the history of the game, and we all knew then he was going to go to the Hall of Fame. For him to come to me and say, "Welcome home," that really did put me at ease. And then guys like Derek came over, Nick Swisher, really the whole team. And they made me feel like I had been there the whole year, and for me being the only guy being traded at the deadline, they knew, hey, we got to bring this guy in because he could help us. He can help. I know Alex and Derek and Johnny loved me because they knew that I could play defense and start in the lineup, and we wouldn't give that much defensively, and they could DH, kind of rest their legs a little bit. So
they were happy. They were happy that you were there.
They were happy that I was there.
But,
so it was a great group of guys.
But Jerry, isn't it hard to really be prepared every day, knowing the fact that you're not going to play every day? What was your mentality like that as a utility player? You don't know when you're going to be in the lineup, man. You could be sitting for 6 days in a row, right?
Yeah, of course. Everybody wants to play every day. I mean, I don't care who you are. You want to play because that's what you do. You're a baseball player. But at the same time, I had to really kind of put my little ego at check, a little small one.
Right.
Because even though I was getting that opportunity in Cincinnati, we weren't really going anywhere that year. Now I have an opportunity to win a championship, and this could be life-changing, not just for the guys involved, but really for me. My dad didn't really have this opportunity. My grandfather never had this opportunity. My brother Scott didn't have this opportunity. So I wanted to make sure, hey, they're a first-place club. They have Hall of Famers throughout the entire lineup. I'm there to do a job, make sure I help these guys out. And if I could do the very best job I can, being that super utility player, I could help us win. And it worked out for everybody. So I was happy to be able to come off the bench and spell those guys.
So where'd you live in New York City?
I lived in Edgewater, New Jersey, right across the bridge there. Robinson Cano lived right by me. I remember Brett Gardner lived by me. It was a pretty easy drive. It took about 20, 25 minutes to cross the bridge if you didn't hit horrific traffic. But I loved living there. I was very comfortable. The fans, man, they were unbelievable, man. The passion that the Yankee fans have, because they don't care if you're 25th guy or the superstar. Hey, can you help us win? And that's what's great about their fans. They understand that you need all the pieces. Yeah. You need every element to win a championship. So I loved my time in New York.
Did you love how the bleacher creatures, when you started the game, they would yell out your last name? You know what I mean? And just
of course, I love that. I love it. And going there for so many years as an Oriole player, I saw that every time we go there. The bleacher creatures, they yell out Paul O'Neill, Scott Brocious. I always see Jeets, Chuck Knobloch. And now to be a part of that, because I had to play against those great Yankee teams in 98, 99, 2000, and 2001. They had a great team. So to be a part of that was kind of cool.
And was your brother hating on you the fact that you're going to the World Series that year? Was he like, man, I can't believe
he wasn't hating.
No.
He was really happy.
And I'm saying, when I say hating in a good way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think, he wanted to maybe be the first.
Right.
Because I was always the first, being the, the firstborn of our family. I was always the first. I'm sure part of him, he wanted to be the first to experience that World Series. But, he was really happy for me. And I remember Scott telling me this. We were talking about this on the golf course, about 6 or 7 months ago. We're talking about the time we as Yankees went over to Oakland, and my brother was playing Oakland at the time. And my brother just hit a double, and he's at second base, and Jeet is kind of giving it to him a little bit. He goes, "Hey, man, me and your brother, we're having a good time over here. We're having a good time." And my brother Scott is in Oakland. He loved the group of guys there, but he wanted to win, and he was like, "Wow, I wish I was with you guys right now." But it was definitely fun playing for the Yankees and put on the Yankee pinstripes.
Which manager would you say you played that you really, really took it in as far as like a lesson that you would give advice to a kid that's coming up in the big leagues if you saw that?
Wow. If you mean the managers that I played for?
Yeah, the managers that you played for.
Eddie, I get asked this question a lot because I played for 9 different organizations. So I played under a lot of managers. I am so fortunate. And somebody asked me, maybe it was Josh Barfield. Josh Barfield is, I think he is now the Jesse's son. Yeah, Jesse's son. Josh Barfield is, I think he's head of the minor league for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We play golf all the time. And he said, "Listen, you're going to get asked a lot to probably be a manager, in the coming years because you're doing TV. You played on 9 different teams. You played in New York, Chicago, LA, and you played for a lot of good managers." And he kind of broke it down, and I was like, wow, the points that he's making is exactly what I've always thought. I played under Buck Showalter, who's a great statistician, understanding the bullpen, understanding his players and how it fits. He's got a lot better at communicating with his players now. I know when he was in Baltimore, the players loved him. Aaron Jones, Derek Lee, they loved Buck Showalter. Getting a chance to play for the passionate Ron Washington. Hopefully Ron Washington gets a job to manage again. He is great, arguably the greatest infield coach too there is. I loved him. I played under Bud Black, one of my favorites. Buddy's as cool as it comes. For him to be a pitching coach, then become a manager, and he obviously was a great pitcher. He talks more crap to opposing pitchers than any manager I ever played for, and he was a pitcher. So I used to always laugh being on deck, because the pitcher would be out there looking at who's in the dugout chirping. It's Bud Black chirping at the opposing pitcher. Love Donnie Baseball. I used to love just joking back with Don Mattingly. He was a really good manager, man. He doesn't get enough credit for being a good communicator, knowing the game, because he was such a great player. You know what I'm saying? He was such a great player, but he is a really good manager, being able to communicate with the players. I used to always love joking up with him and go, "Man, we see a highlight on the Jumbotron of Don Mattingly, hitting 8 or 9 straight home runs to start the season," or something ridiculous like that. I'm like, "Wow, Donnie, I didn't know you played. That's awesome, man." Must be, whatever. You're not that young, But Joe Girardi was great. Joe is just hard-nosed, Chicago guy, just grit and grind. I love playing for Joe because, we had a unique relationship. We're both from Chicago. So I love playing for Joe. But all great guys.
Okay,
but
if you had to pick one, and nothing against the other managers.
Nothing against the other managers. I think the other managers would agree with me. Dusty Baker, man.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about Baker for you.
He doesn't get enough credit, man. Wherever he goes, I don't care what kind of team they have, he gives that team a chance to win. It is so hard to win a World Series, okay? It is so hard to win that big one. Obviously, Dusty won as a player, but he's been so close as a manager, and just when they're getting ready to take the next step, he gets fired. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, we used to always say, why are you letting this guy go? People love playing for this guy. He was so close with the Giants, so close with the Cubs. They were on the brink, the Cubs were. So close with the Reds. The Reds were on their way to taking that next step, and they fire him, and that whole organization goes down. I know the players are very depressed in Cincinnati when he was let go. Same thing with Washington. They were on the verge of winning the World Series, but Dusty Baker was the culmination of all those managers I mentioned. He cared about your family. He cared about you as the person. I had a great father, okay? And he still have a great father. Dusty is that second father figure, not just to me, to a lot of guys. And you don't want to run to a brick wall. Listen, I'm a career 260 hitter. Under Dusty Baker, I hit 326. He had me believing that I was a superstar. You know what I'm saying? That's how great Dusty Baker is.
But
you can get a 260 hitter to hit 326.
But Jerry, I watch you hit, and you have lightning hands, man. You also had a great career in the minor leagues too. I mean, listen, your on base percentage with the Yankees for 3 months was 352. I'm not looking at your batting average. I'm looking at your on base. If you're not a home run hitter, you know what I mean. Can you get on base? That's the key. So, you were well prepared for the Yanks.
I was prepared. I had some serious injuries. I don't really dwell on that. And it kind of changed my career. Mm-hmm. I remember the doctor, when I broke my foot in half, I was leading both leagues in stolen bases. I was really starting to turn the corner. I thought I was going to be an all-star that year. And I snapped my foot in half, and I was never able to run the same. And then when I start having good seasons and I start running again, I would pull my hamstring, and then I could be on the DL because my gait changed because of the serious foot injury that I had. And then I'd start back up again, start having a good year. I tear my hamstring, because of the gait that I had. So, listen, injuries, really hampered my career. Could I have been an everyday player? Absolutely, if I didn't get injured the way I was.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate to kind of, change my game a little bit. Learn to play center field, learn to be able to play 3 or 4 days a week, spell different guys. Because when I played every single day, my body would break down because of that serious foot injury that I had. Des Bryant had the same injury, and Des Bryant wasn't able to be a wide receiver anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember when he had the injury, I said, "Oh no," because I had that injury. So I was able to have a long career. It happened early in my career. Some doctors said probably you maybe play another year or two. It happened in 2003. I was able to play in 2013. So I was very, very fortunate.
So now let's get to October, baby. This is it. Jeter told you we're going to be here in October, all right? You pass Minnesota. The hardest thing I believe in baseball is the first round. I don't care.
Absolutely.
If you're the most dominating team. That first round, it is so hard to pass that round because you just don't know what's going to happen, So you beat Minnesota, A-Rod, Teixeira hitting bombs and stuff like that. All right. Anaheim. That's a team, the Yankees, they give trouble to the Yankees traditionally.
Yes, they're a good team, man.
But you snuck by. But tell me about that game-winning score in Game 2. And you were excited, man. Everybody, they were like, look at you, like here it is right there. Jeter waiting for you.
Yeah. I was so excited. It's amazing because that buildup was something else. I remember they had brought in the closer. We're down 1 run before that. Mm-hmm. I believe this was in the 9th inning. We're down a run. Alex was hitting, and I was going to hit behind Alex. Right. But because Alex hit that game-tying home run, I'm a player that plays everywhere. Really brilliant move by Joe Girardi, kind of thinking ahead. So Alex ties that game, and he didn't want to burn me then because if you go in the extra innings, I'm burned. I could catch. I could play center field. I could play shortstop. So he kind of pulled me back right away because it was a tie ball game. On to the 13th inning, fast forward, we're out of bench guys. He has to use me. And he tells me, "Hey, Jay Hare, you're leading off the bottom of the 13th." Okay, so I take some swings. Nick Swisher was out of the game at the time. He's kind of pumping me up. We're in the cage under the tunnel, trying to get loose and get mentally prepared for that bat. I start walking up the stairs. The first guy I see out of the corner of my eyes is Derek Jeter. Wow. He's sitting down in this little spot that he always sits down. He looks at me. He's like, "Hey, bro, let's go. Let's go. It's your time now, brother. What I've been talking about, it's your time." And it kind of really pumped me up. I said, "It's right. Get ready to go." And I remember being a little nervous. But that's a good thing because that means I'm ready.
But he warned you.
Dad always tells me.
He warned you July 31st when you came in town. I mean, he warned you. Right. He said, "Listen."
He's been prepping me for a while now. Uh-huh. So I remember walking up to the plate thinking, this is not just my at-bat. This is an at-bat that for my grandfather, my dad, and my brother. All of us are taking this at-bat. And I didn't know if I was going to get a hit, okay? But I was going to hit something hard. I knew I was going to hit something hard. Or I was going to walk, okay? I'm getting on base. I'm getting on base and making something happen. And that's the positive frame of mind you have to have. Fortunately, I got a breaking ball middle of the plate, able to square it up, line drive, a single. And when I got on base, I said, we're winning. We're winning right here. We're winning right here. Because I know how we executed. We are a team that executed. I think it was Gardy who put the bunt down, got me over to second base. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to score on Melky Cabrera when he put the ball in play. So I remember how the conditions being wet and cold.
Yeah.
And it'd be impossible for Sean Figgins to pick up the ball cleanly and throw a strike.
Right.
So I put the pressure on the defense, and I was able to score. And I think in my mind, I was jumping up like Michael Jordan when he
Well, that picture right there.
I think he got up as high as Michael Jordan there. At least I like to think that. You know what I'm saying? But we were so excited because we knew how important it was to go up 2-0, going to Anaheim, because we knew they were a really good team.
So you advance, you beat Anaheim, and now here it is, man. It's Game 6. You're in left field, right? And it's like, Jerry, you're thinking, you're right, you're up 7-3. 2 outs.
Yes.
Mariano's on the mound, okay? You're 1 out away. Before that last pitch, what were you thinking, Jerry? Were you like, yo, this is it, man? Give me that experience.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll even go back a little further.
Go ahead.
So we brought Mariano, I think we were up 4 or 5 runs.
Yeah, you were up 7-3. 7-3.
It was 7-3. And a lot of people don't know this. Mo was injured. He had an oblique issue. Mo had an oblique issue. Another warrior, man, okay? But I remember we brought in Mo to have that 5-out save. So we brought him into the top of the 8th, okay? And as he's coming in, I'm in left field, and I go over to Melky and Nick Swisher. We're huddled up, and I remember Swish saying, good luck, guys, trying to score 4 runs on the greatest closer of all time. And we knew they ain't scoring 4 runs against Mario.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? So Swish was really kind of pumping us up in center field, and we're like, just enjoy the moment, enjoy it. So I just remember being in left field, the final out, before the final out, I was saying, please let the ball be hit to me, because I would like to be able to catch it. You know what I'm saying? Being a little selfish. But I just remember being in that new Yankee Stadium, the great Yankee fans, and the anticipation of that final out, knowing my parents were in the stands, my family was there, and I got a chance to be on the field, be in left field. And when Shane hit that ground ball to Robbie at second base, I started charging right away.
Here it is, right here.
To the second baseman, Cano. The Yankees are back on top. World champions for the 27th time.
On the planet, and we're able to close the deal. We knew the Phillies were champions before. They're a great team led by Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Pedro Martinez, who really had a good year for them. Just a great team over there. So we knew we had our hands full, but we knew if we played our best, we were the best team. And fortunately for us, we were able to play at our best and win the World Series.
And you know what? I found out was the champagne that you guys used. That was Jay-Z champagne in the clubhouse, okay? So here are you guys celebrating right here, okay? Watch this. Here we go. So, Jerry, here's what I want to know, the schedule. How long were you guys partying in the stadium with the champagne?
Oh, man, we were there for hours.
Well, at least 2 hours, right?
Yeah. For a long time. I remember, my parents were there, okay? And my wife at the time was there with my young kids, too. So I remember my dad coming in, because they allowed the family. Once we all celebrated for a while, they allowed the wives, they allowed the family, rightfully so. And I remember I'm sitting there, me and Eric Hinsky are downing champagne, and my dad never really see me down champagne.
Right.
And I look at him, and he goes, drink up, brother, drink up. That's what my dad told me. He goes, drink up. And it was just an incredible experience. And we partied there, and my dad said, listen, you guys have a good time. We'll worry about the kids. We'll take them back to your place. And me and my wife at the time, we go out with CC and his wife, Derek and his girlfriend at the time. We all go to One Oak. We have blast, man. Jay-Z, I tell you what, knows how to throw a party, bro. We had a blast at One Oak. I think we got back to my place at 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning. I mean, just incredible celebration.
Yeah,
You see it right there.
Yeah, well, One Oak is known for that, my man.
We had a blast.
So, okay, so you partied all night. What time did you get home the next day?
I got home around 8 or 9 in the morning. I
Wow.
knew the sun was up, sure. I knew the sun was up. We had such a good time. Listen, you don't know how many times you're going to get a chance to do this. You know, Mariano, G, all those guys, the core four, they experienced it 5 times. That was my first, you know. So
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was hoping it wouldn't be my last, but it ended up being my last.
Jerry,
you know, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, sorry about that. But Jerry, here's the thing. When you guys entered One Oak, right? Like, was it a packed house outside of the club because they knew the Yankees are coming in right now? Like, was it?
Well, Jay-Z did an incredible job, and his people did an incredible job. It wasn't really packed when we got there, but they were waiting outside.
Right.
They wanted to make sure that we were all kind of waiting, or excuse me, we were all be able to get in. So they kind of held the fort down a little bit, making sure that the fans were outside. And once we were all settled in our VIP area, then the floodgates opened in. So, you know, Jay-Z and his people did an incredible job. I think Jay-Z knows how to throw a party.
Well, of course.
He was well prepared.
So who was there besides Jay-Z as far as a non-Yankee that's a huge superstar?
Oh, wow. That's.
Did you remember that night?
Man, I remember. I don't remember the night. I know Jay-Z and his whole crew, his entourage, they're all there. Now, I don't want to name a guy and get him in trouble, and if he wasn't there, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know the entertainers were there. Lots of entertainers there. You know what I'm saying? So the one thing I do remember, I remember Mark Teixeira, you know, really, you know, Mark is always clean cut, you know, proper, just drinking away, having a great time, really enjoying it. Because me and Mark were teammates in Texas too.
Right.
You know, to be able to see Mark kind of let loose a little bit, CC, you know, for CC to be brought over as a pitcher, AJ Brandt to be brought over. Those guys were brought over to win. You know what I'm saying? Those are the stars. And the one thing, you know, watching this documentary of the Jordan doc, right, The Last Dance, we knew as players that this was their legacy, whether it's Jeter, Posada, Mariano, Andy Pettitte, CC Sabathia, that's legacy for them. If we win the championship, I'm there, that's not my legacy. You know what I'm saying? Because I was never a superstar player. So I always felt it was the responsibility of those players that are there to do a job to help those superstar players build their legacy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what my job was as a teammate. Make sure these guys are there that I'm there to enhance their legacy. And I just very fortunate I was able to be a part of that.
Lucky, man. All right, so now 48 hours later, we're meeting on Broadway. We're meeting at Yankee Stadium. We're going to go to downtown Manhattan. What was that like, Jerry? I mean, come on, man. There's millions of people in New York City waiting for you guys. You're on the float. I mean, tell me about that experience.
I remember Derek talking to us, me and Swish. He goes, bro, you think, you know, partying was something else? Wait till we do the parade. The parade is going to be nuts. And just seeing that. For another World Series championship, and the fans were incredible. To have more than 4.5 million people.
Wow.
There's somewhere that's the estimate, and it seemed like it was 10 million. That's how great it was, and it was so well organized. We were able to get the key to the city.
Mm-hmm.
I still have that.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool, along with our World Series ring. So that's something I'll never forget. Just the joy in the faces of Alex, of Derek. And CC, AJ, all those guys. They're very happy.
You know, so then after the parade, Jerry, did you feel like, oh, man, my time is up, that's it, I know I'm going to be done with the Yankees? I mean, did you get that feeling right afterwards?
I didn't. You know,
no?
I know, and my agent Casey, we were talking, and they were talking about bringing me back. But I got a pretty good offer from the San Diego Padres. And I know I've heard rumblings, I don't know if I should say this, but I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I had a feeling that they wanted me to go to San Diego and play every day and get a lot of at bats, and they would trade back for me, at the deadline. But I became the starter at shortstop with the Padres. We won 90 games that year. I had a great time in San Diego. Played with my brother, and then they did call for me at the deadline. But the Padres said, we're not giving him up. We were making a playoff push here, and he's our shortstop. So the Yankees did try to trade me or trade for me at that time. But listen, it all worked out.
Yeah.
I love playing in New York. I was very fortunate to play in San Diego, play with my brother. That's a great experience. We almost made the playoffs that year. So it all worked out.
So then after the, towards the end of your career, you joined the Dodgers for a little bit. There's one stat I noticed. I think it was like 4 kids that had fathers that play in the big leagues. I think Van Slyke, you, who else? There was 2 others that, they're...
Tony Gwynn Jr.
Who is it?
Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn Jr. There was one more, right?
Ivan DeJesus.
Yes. That's amazing, man, just to see that, But so you played the Dodgers. It was towards the end of your career. Time's up. Let's get to broadcasting. How did you get that gig? Did you audition? Did they offer the job to you when Sports LA Network? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's Spectrum Sports now.
Spectrum.
Yeah. But it's Sportsnet LA is our channel.
Okay.
I had done some work for ESPN and MLB Network while I was a player because I knew my career wasn't going to last forever. So I wanted to make sure I was in the game some kind of way, whether it's coaching, whether it's being a manager, being in the front office. I thought at that time the best thing for me to do to be close to my kids, I had gotten divorced then, is be a broadcaster. That way I can work 110, 115 days a year and be around my kids. I really enjoy working for the Dodgers. It's a class organization. Lon Rosen, who's my boss, he's the one who really got me. My last year was 13, and he told me, hey, you're going to do some TV stuff for us while you're playing, and then the next year we're going to start our network, and you're going to work for us.
Oh, so you didn't have to audition. It was a straight offer then.
It was a straight offer. I got offered. I got a chance to play in 14. I know a couple teams wanted me to play, but I said, you know what? For my kids, it's better for me to be home and raise them. My son was getting older at the time. My daughters as well were getting older, and I wanted to be around them. And I said, listen, this is the perfect opportunity. I can stay in LA, Arizona, be in a great organization like the Dodgers. And Lon Rosen said, Jerry, this is what you should be doing, man. Why play another year? Scratch. You played 16. It's not like you're going to be a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Do the Dodgers thing. You can do it for years. Be part of the family. And Lon Rosen was the one who grabbed me and said, hey, you're going to do this. And I'm so glad I listened to Lon. I'm so glad I listened because I've been able to raise my family. My son, who's 14 years old, he's a switch hitting shortstop.
Nice.
He's starting to grow. He's starting to really blossom into a pretty good athlete. He's a great kid. I have a daughter. She's 12. She plays volleyball. And then I got another daughter who plays soccer. So I have 3 great kids. And for me to raise them and be around them, I've never been happier.
And you're raising them in LA, right?
I'm actually raising them in Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, I go back and forth in LA. I got a place in LA right by the studio, and they come with me too. I get them 50% of the time. So they love going to LA. They love being by the beach.
Oh,
so
well, I don't blame them.
Yeah. They love going back and forth.
Jerry, the preparation when you guys went to the World Series with the Dodgers in 17, and what time did you have to come into the studio? Because that's a lot of prep work, right? You have a lot of producers meetings and all that. Like, give me the schedule of that as being a broadcaster and a post-studio and a pregame studio host.
Well, Eddie, that's a great question. I mean, I'm fortunate. We have a team. Producers, Stu Mitchell is as good as it gets. He went from ESPN to work for our network years ago. He's been there from the start. Manny Lujan does an incredible job. John Hartong, who's our host, really is the quarterback of the show. I'm there to really provide entertainment and make sure that I bring an approach or a viewpoint of what players would be thinking. So if a player, booted a ball or a player hit a home run, I will bring to the fans the feeling of that. I've never really brought a whole lot of stats because, as you know, Eddie, fans can look at stats on their phone. They want to know what it feels like to be a major leaguer, what it feels like to be in the clubhouse. So I try to use that.
Yeah.
And if I need to say some stats, I have stuff in my ear, a producer or a director could put in my ear, hey, Cody Bellinger is 10 for his last 15 with 3 home runs.
Right.
And they'll have it on the screen. Now talk about what it's like to be that red hot. Now, I've never been that hot before.
Right.
But I want to.
Well, of course, that's like the way I'm interviewing you is that I'm getting the feeling out that, your career, then with the Yankees. Yeah, exactly. I'm not asking you what you hit. I don't care about that. I want the feeling, man, because I want people to live vicariously through you. Like, damn, you experienced that? Oh, my God, I wish. And even major leaguers said, I wish they could experience that. Think about it. Some of them, like Mattingly, my favorite player, never experienced one round of the playoffs, and that's it.
Yeah, 1 round. I know. Donnie Ocho, and he was, in my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer. Donnie's a Hall of Famer. If he would have kept playing, he had serious back injuries. But if he would have kept playing, I think he should be a Hall of Famer now.
So then what time?
That's all I try to do.
So what time did you come in during the World Series? Like, what was your time that you would come in?
Okay, so, because we're on the West Coast, so 8 o'clock Eastern, it's a 5 o'clock game on the West Coast. So I'll probably come in around 3:30. I make sure I get a workout in early and then play some golf, and then make sure I'm at the studio by probably 2:30 or 3 and be on air at 4. An hour and a half before, and really prep the fans on what it feels like to play postseason baseball. I would wear my World Series ring, Yankees ring, make sure that fans get a chance to see that. I know fans love seeing it. They want me to wear it all the time. I said I only wear it during the postseason.
Yeah.
Because that's a special time. Now, I don't wear my ring during the regular season.
And then afterwards, what time would you get out of this? I mean, those games are guerrilla baseball. You know what I mean? So there's some long nights.
Yeah. Long nights. And again, I'm very fortunate. We're on the West Coast. So games that let up at 1 o'clock, Eastern time, it's 10 o'clock on the West Coast. So that's not that bad of a night. So, sometimes we'll have long nights when it comes to extra inning ball games. But at the same time, you realize, man, you're fortunate. You're talking about baseball, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that work extremely hard, man. They're 95 jobs grinding, trying to put food on their family's table. My job is to make sure when that man or woman hits their couch and they turn us on TV, I'm there to help them relax and to enjoy the game of baseball, because that's what it's about, man. No matter what, we as players take it very, very seriously, and we know it's a business. But for the fans, it's entertainment, and we should never forget that.
Absolutely. Jerry, have you ever heard of this guy named Eddie Mata?
Who the hell is Eddie Mata?
That's Jerry Hairston, baby. Jerry, you're the best. Thank you so much. Don't hang up. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to finish the broadcast.